Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you one of my favorite sourdough recipes, and that is for a sourdough sandwich bread. What I love about this recipe is it is different than your traditional sourdough recipe. So this recipe has honey and butter, and what that is doing is it's making your bread really soft and perfect for sandwiches. So I made this loaf last night, and as you can see, the crumb turned out really exceptionally well, and I am very proud of this loaf. But it's really foolproof, the recipe. You just throw everything into a bowl. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I wanted to show you guys how I feed my starter. I have this fancy Tostitos container. I am just weighing out about 140 grams of starter, as well as 140 grams of all-purpose flour and 140 grams of warm water. And then I'm just going to mix that up thoroughly and let that sit on my counter overnight. The next morning, I'm going to add a half cup of room temperature butter, as well as 42 grams of raw honey and 17 grams of fine sea salt. After that, I'm going to add in 590 grams of warm water, as well as 227 grams of my active bubbly sourdough starter. Then I am going to add 280 grams of my whole wheat flour, as well as 840 grams of all-purpose flour. Once I have added all my ingredients, I'm just going to lower the dough hook and put my mixer on low and mix together for about 10 to 15 minutes or until the dough is no longer shaggy. Once my dough has come together and it looks elastic and stretchy, I am going to take a small piece of the dough and do the window pane test on it. More on that later. So I wanted to know, when I was making this recipe with my stand mixer, the dough hook was really struggling to mix that dough, and it was kind of getting overheated. So I actually took it out on the countertops and started kneading by hand. I would recommend maybe halving this recipe, as it does make 2 loaves. So that way your KitchenAid or your stand mixer doesn't get overworked and get overheated. So here you can see I'm taking my dough and trying to knead it manually on the countertops by just kind of pushing and pulling the dough. There isn't really a strategy to this, although I'm just trying to develop that gluten. And then once I have that gluten pretty developed, I'm gonna go in and do the window pane test on it. So I'm just stretching the dough out here, seeing if it's gonna break, and it's still breaking. So I'm just gonna keep kneading away at that, but you can kind of see that the dough is starting to get more elastic and more stretchy, and that's exactly what you want. Once your dough passes the window pane test, you can let it sit for 10 to 12 hours in a warm environment. I like to set it out on my stove and then just divide the dough into on the countertops. And here you can see I am rolling it out into a rectangular shape, and what I am doing is just rolling it up into a tight roll and tucking the sides in and trying to create a nice loaf. Your goal here is to get your dough into that nice loaf shape for the bread pan. So I'm just going in and making sure that I am tucking in all those corners and trying to minimize as many air bubbles as I can. That way you don't have big gaps in your bread when you cut into it. Then I'm just going to add my loaves into 2 prepared baking tins and let sit for 2 to 4 hours or until doubled. Bake your loaves at 375 for 45 minutes. You'll know that it's done when it has that nice golden finish to the top. What I love about this loaf is it's so soft and the crumb is so fine, which really makes it great for a sandwich bread. I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you liked this video, please hit that like button below and subscribe. I do put out more sourdough content here weekly on my YouTube channel, so join me along my sourdough journey with me, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.